2011. 10 years later, today, 2021.
Well, in 2011, we weren't seeing these technology gaps like we are now. And so just doing the research and forecasting, I read the New York Times a lot. And so, reading about what's coming down the pipeline in technology, specifically cybersecurity, digital media, digital graphics, drone technology, 3D printing, those things were very rapidly, increasingly gaining attraction. And so what I wanted to do was to start planning a cybersecurity school because I knew that there was going to be a great demand in the future. So back in 2011, there wasn't, a talent gap demand. And now there is. And increasingly, as we move toward 2024, we're going to see an even huger demand than we are now.
I guess it makes sense that we're seeing this talent gap today compared to 10 years ago because you just didn't have those jobs in 2011, but more and more of those jobs are being created as we speak.
Right. Well, as the internet and the digital footprint increases, the need for cybersecurity demand increases and cybersecurity awareness.
That makes sense because you're hearing about stories every other day, every single day more so about this program has been hacked, this app has been hacked. So I'm assuming you're alluding to the point of, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're alluding to the point of you need more of those cybersecurity jobs to keep these hackers at bay.
Absolutely.
I mean, just this week, I believe the app Robinhood had been hacked.
Yes, absolutely. And so, that's what I was kind of forecasting, and I knew that was coming. And so back when I first initially started this venture in Detroit, everyone in the city of Detroit looked at me like, okay, you're crazy.
Detroiters, this is the Motor City.
Yeah, like
we drive our Cutlass.
Detroiters can't do tech. I remember even having specific conversations that were very in depth with people in the city who run the city, who said, tech school, it's a little bit too far advanced right now for the city of Detroit. This was even before Grand Circus was there in Detroit. When I first had these initial conversations, and everybody just kind of looked like, okay, well, good luck with that. We're putting our funding that comes to the city of Detroit from, the federal dollars and state dollars into plumbing, and skilled trades such as construction and HVAC. Technology, that's kind of like a afterthought, right? Maybe in the future sometime, but right now you're ahead of the game or ahead of the curve. So, that being said, I still disagreed with them because I knew it was coming and I knew it was coming quickly. So I still went forward with my plans.
Now, give us a little vision of how you kind of saw it coming to Detroit. Like, what was it that stood out back in 2011 that gave you the hint, okay, we need to get on the 8 ball with this?
Yeah. So back then, Ford Motor Company wasn't necessarily here yet at the train station or, having plans of that.
Right.
But I did know about autonomous vehicles. I had done my research about, lighter lasers, things that were coming down the pipeline, especially construction companies, how they would need technology to, do their project management on sites. And so I thought, regardless of what I'm being told right now, I know that there's going to be a huge demand coming for cybersecurity. And that just comes from, knowledge that you read in the papers, New York Times, like I said, just doing the research behind it. So.
Good deal. Okay. So bring us back to here at the school at DSDT, located on 21st Street in Southwest Detroit, adjacent to the train station.
Right.
What can people expect when they walk through the door to learn more about the programs? What are the programs?
Well, I think it's funny. First, if you don't mind, I want to back up because you said we're located in Southwest Detroit.
Yeah.
We are like in this hub of what used to be nothing, right? So you look around and you see, abandoned buildings, and you see, when I first got initially introduced into this building, it was through Motor City Match, a competition I won, and there was a whole, like 2 buses that got actually driven here by Motor City Match, and they took us on a tour of the building, and everybody was like, oh my God, this building's so creepy. Like, who would ever want this? And I was like, this is my building.
Do you want to remind the folks of what this building used to be?
Yes, a former 3rd precinct. So it was very much an active police station well into the 1980s. And so everybody was just, 2004 is when it actually stopped being a former 3rd precinct. But I mean, everybody walked in here and everybody was like, this building is the creepiest ever. No one wants it. We don't care how much it's going for. And I was like, this is my building.
What made you think this could be a school?
Because I thought, initially it rung a bell in my head, or it hit close to home. A former place of incarceration turned into education. I know that growing up, I didn't have a lot of opportunity, and I grew up, in a middle class family. I guess it was. To me, it was pretty, lower class, as far as amenities, let's say, okay, or from a socioeconomic status. But I really thought to myself, I'm a single mother, right? I have 2 daughters, and I know what it's like to go through, everything that you have to do to get on the other side of things. Let's put it that way. And so I just thought, wow, this is somewhere where people here maybe didn't have a second chance. And so I want to give second chances.
Let's get a little bit more into the programs you offer here.
Yeah.
The current ones. And I'm just curious if you have any new programs that are in the works.
Yes, we've actually evolved since we started. When we first started our school, we were a film production school, and that was back in 2011. So it was more, traditional cameras, film setup, audio and boom, electrical, grip and lighting, things of that nature. And now, like I said, when the digital footprint increases, or, gains attraction, then software is there, hardware is there. And so, for me, it kind of took a whole new turn. But initially we started off very, bare bones and, with equipment, lots of equipment, and doing our thing. And so from film production, we evolved. And then we actually started technology training because of my research. And so we implemented Technology Professional 6, which is our cybersecurity program. And we also added Technology Professional 2, which is our A+ CompTIA program. And so what that does is it can be PC tech repair or call center, things like that, very entry level position. And just very recently, we added 2 more programs. Which are our business information technology specialist and our mobile iOS developer. So,
and those 2 programs, give us a little information about those 2.
So the business information technology specialist was based upon our current cybersecurity program. So upon meeting with our board members and our employers that we currently work with, we said, how can we make a program that is financial aid ready, so you can get Title IV funding, so there has to be enough clock hours, and how can we make it more attractive to have not only an entry level employment, but a mid to higher level employment opportunity. So somebody's not getting in, with base salary of 20 to 30,000, maybe they're getting in with a $40 to $50,000 salary. So those are cybersecurity based, but there also is some Java in there, some programming, coding, if you will, and some other AWS cloud, so cloud based.
Based on our conversation at this moment, I'm getting the mindset that the jobs are really in cybersecurity, and that's growing.
Yes, it is growing so much right now that I can tell you, I opened up my email and I know our career service department is kind of like ripping their hair out right now, because every day we're like, hey, we have some more leads. Hey, there's some more, this employer is contacting us. This employer is contacting us. And now that we're listed on a vet tech approval, which is for veterans, everybody keeps finding our information. So now we have employers coming out of the woodworks. It's like every day we open our emails, we have more, which is a very great thing. So it shows that there's demand there, but it also shows that our graduates are going to have placement, which is what we work for here.
Who are some of the employers that you are currently in contact with on a daily basis?
So we have definitely over 30. I would say way more than that, to be honest with you. Yeah. But the ones we work with on a daily basis are Tech Systems, CBI Security Systems. We've worked with Ford, GM. That's a given.
Yeah.
Also Logicalis, Stefanini.
Speaking of the auto industry, you brought up autonomous vehicles a moment ago, and that was one of the signs you saw that tech is going to be part of Detroit in the future. Right. What kind of jobs, as far as autonomous vehicles, are out there?
So cybersecurity analyst is a big one. Also people who analyze the LiDAR laser systems. So if you look across from our building, Ford actually was just out here and basically removed all the trees and everything and put up these big, what look like regular light posts, but they're not. They're actually these radars or sensors that when they're driving around with autonomous vehicles, it goes to a hub or somebody who's monitoring them. So there's going to be a lot of positions where people are actually monitoring the systems that go on. And that's exactly what DSDT does here. We train for that.
Incredible. Incredible. And what program specifically for anyone who wants to work with autonomous vehicles that you would suggest tapping into here, DSDT?
Well, that's interesting because our Technology Professional 6 program will get you probably an entry-level position. Business Information Technology Specialist would get you a mid-level, and we have yet to develop our full autonomous vehicle train program. So that's in the works too, as we speak. But we'll have to continue that. And you know, again, everyone told me that I was way ahead of the curve before when we first moved to Detroit. So I'd be way ahead of the curve right now, I believe, for what we're actually doing. So,
all right. A few more questions I have. Tell me more about your accreditation.
Okay. Oh, God, that was brutal. It was brutal. It's Carlos's famous line. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
It was brutal. It was very hard, very long, and very expensive. And so, but we are nationally accredited. So that means not only can we stay in Detroit, but we can go nationwide. So we do have basically every state we've had a student from now. We do have our programs both online for distant education as well as in person. So that's huge news. We also have 2 programs that are approved by U.S. Department of Education that are distant education and in person now. And we have one that is vet tech approved for distant education. So that's been really key for the veterans that we work with, especially if they're remote and out of state.
As far as funding, where should students look? Who should they contact?
So they would contact the school to be connected with an admission representative, and the admission representatives would then help them with their funding sources. And we do have many funding sources available. We have, for if you're a veteran, we have, you know, vet tech, VRAP, post 9/11, Chapter 1606, in-state tuition, MingStap, Go Army Ignite Ed for credentialing assistance. I could go on. We have way more than that. If they are a general student, somebody who's a cash payer, they either have financial aid or they have one of our ISA agreements with Paramount Capital or another company we work with. Or if they are cash payers, if their organization wants to pay for them, we take it all and we help all of them.
All right.
Okay, so I got a question.
Okay.
All right, so I have had students ask me in the past, are you guys a for-profit or non-profit, and why? Right. So I know that you chose to do national accreditation as opposed to regional. So could you kind of explain the difference of the two and why it was important that DSDT became a national versus the regional, and why for-profit versus non-profit?
That was a lot to digest. So you might have to break apart those questions again, but let me start with the first one.
National.
You can do it.
Okay. So, all right, let me take the first one. Okay. So why? And the first one was national versus regional.
Right.
Okay. All right. So the first one, I wanted to become a nationally accredited school for a few reasons. The first reason was I wanted to make sure that I didn't get stuck to Michigan. Initially, I wanted to move to California. This was before I had my grandkids, right? So I was like ready. I wanted to go. That's the state I want to live in. You know, when I had my blonde hair, it looked like I should be in California. I don't know about now, but anyway, so I wanted to be
the dark hair.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I wanted to do that because I wanted to go into different states. We still are, now we're very much closer than we were to going into different states. And that's our initial plan. So bringing campuses everywhere across the U.S. The second reason is because I didn't want to offer degree programs. The reason is because I went to Wayne State and I went to college basically for 10 years. I took trade schools for 3 years. So I have a lot of background in college and trade schools or individual career skilled occupational skills. And for me, I wanted to make a concept here that was a faster, shorter means to gainful employment. Career education training with a narrow focus. So you don't go to, and this is, you know, nothing against Wayne State or whatever. That's, you know, I'm alum there and I love Wayne
Warriors.
State. Yeah, Warrior. And I had a great time, you know, and I developed a lot of friends from it. So, and my professors were wonderful. And I think everything kind of helped me build my skill along the way. But I wish I would have had a more narrow focus. You know, why am I taking acting, you know, at Wayne State? Why am I taking PE class? Why am I taking, Greek mythology? Why? Because I had to, because it was required. Electives are required. Everything in your undergrad is required. And then you start to focus on, your degree. And for me, it was like, man, I'm a single mom. I got 2 kids. I'm taking back Coke bottles to get a candy bar to feed them. It was brutal, and no help from anybody. And if I could have had a school like this back when I started college, put it this way: had I known, then what I know now, I would have done this a long time ago, because it's a shorter, faster means to a career. It has a narrow focus. And you can really take our programs from 80 clock hours all the way up to 1,200 clock hours, and you can get a good job that pays you a livable wage. And that's what we're here for.
Let's get right to the point and not waste anyone's time.
Okay.
You know what you want to do. Now, alluding to your point of what you're saying, yes, it was fun for me taking philosophy when I went to Eastern Michigan University. Right. But I did nothing with that philosophy class.
Right.
It just taught me how.
I disagree. I disagree.
It taught you. You know what? It didn't teach you. It confirmed you think what they thought thousands of years ago. Yes, Socrates, you and I thought the same way. We were on the same page. I get that. Right. But that doesn't incorporate into my career today necessarily. Again, I enjoyed philosophy. I really did. But what the heck did I do with it?
Well, it's a good point. And also I think that I've always had an entrepreneur spirit, and I've always liked to be my own boss. So when I graduated from college, I do nothing with my degree that I graduated. I did for a while, and then I was over it. Right. Went to medical school, dropped out. I could go on and on about what I've done, but the long and the short is, I ended up with this degree, and now what? So I went into sales, because I like to be my own boss. I don't like to be told what to do. I like to make as much money as I can in the fastest amount of time that I can. Mm-hmm. And so, that's how our school was designed. It's how can I help people make the most money they can in the shortest amount of time that they can, with a training that is going to be, such a narrow focus where somebody's going to hit the ground running. So that's the concept that we built.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow. You see, I don't have anything to say edgewise. When she steps into the room and you get her in her little zone, let her go.
It takes a lot to get me into the room and into the zone.
Right.
Because, for those of you, who don't know me, I'm shy. So
no,
I am. Everyone who knows me says that I'm very outgoing and I try to talk to people all the time and I'm charismatic or whatever the case is. No, I'm very shy. I'm a worker bee. Yeah.
So listen, we have a question. Okay. From actually a former student.
Can former students re-register?
Yes, they can. However, we are a certificate-based program. Mm-hmm. And so what that means is you cannot repeat classes or courses. You can take different programs, however.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right. And a follow-up to that question real quick is there a number that former students can call, or students in general can call, if they're interested in taking any DSDT classes?
Absolutely. But we're so automated here that you're not going to actually get a live person. So what it's going to do is it's going to put you to a system, and you're going to have to actually give your voicemail, and then it's transferred to us through our email.
Send an email.
Yeah. Send an email. Call if you want to. It's going to transfer you to the right person. It's going to give you an admission representative's number. But you're definitely able to email here. So the phone number is 313-263-4200 or admissions@dsdt.edu.
Also another question, where can we register for classes?
So you can register for classes through our admission representatives. Like I just said, same thing. Mm-hmm. You can either shoot over an email or go ahead and give a phone call. And then anybody you leave a message for, we have a 24-hour turnaround time. So somebody will get back to you almost immediately. From there, you are going to be set up with an admission representative who's going to get you set up with all your financial resources or funding sources. And then you will be attending orientation for your pre-enrollment documents.
And how often do these semesters switch over?
All right. So that is another thing. We are different from a university. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I didn't talk about one of the other questions you asked me. Now that it just hit me. You asked me regional versus
Oh yeah,
national.
national accreditation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I sure did.
And then you asked me something.
How dare
else.
you not answer one of my questions?
Yeah. Sorry about that. But it just dawned on me when I was going to answer the other question. What was the other question, really quick? Do you want me to answer that?
National versus region. Why did you
that.
choose the one versus the other?
Yep.
And for-profit versus non-profit.
Oh, for-profit. Because when any good entrepreneur starts a business, and I learned this in business school, I went to business school too. So when you have this mindset of being an entrepreneur, you're supposed to always have your exit strategy in mind. And for me, I've always drawn like this pyramid, right? So I always do like my, step 1, step 2, and then I do like, tangible, and then, almost intangible. And so I try to hit all those metrics. And for me, my exit strategy was have a for-profit school, because I know that if I want other people to make as much money as they can, I want to make as much money as I can, because I'm going to work as much as I can for the people that I serve in my community and outside of my community now, which is really cool. So I think that for-profit also doesn't limit you, right? So when you're a nonprofit, you have to go through your board, and you have to go through, different levels or chains of command on what you can actually do with your own school that you've created. And you can't really make a move until you get everybody's approval. Well, here, I want to be, able to morph at the drop of a dime. If my employer that I'm working with at that time says, look, I want a mobile iOS developer course, I'm going to make it. And I'm going to make it, I was going to swear, but I can't swear.
Ooh,
okay.
no.
Oh, I'm going to make it. Yeah. I'm going to make it bad.
You're going to make it rain.
I'm going to make it rain. I'm going to make it rain. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people who want to attend the course. I'm going to have employers on board. I'm going to stop laughing because you're going to make me laugh. And then I forgot the other question now again. It's okay though.
I think you answered both.
Yeah, okay. I do. Okay. One of the things I think that is pertinent to remind everyone is, although it's for profit, let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? It's not necessarily becoming the richest person that you can based on education, because I can guarantee you no one's really getting rich from tuitions and affording paychecks every other week for the individuals who work here. Right. What I need to highlight is the fact that right now there is, or it seems to be, a war on for-profit institutions. But let's tell them about the third-party audits and things that nonprofits don't necessarily have to deal with as far as checks and balances when it comes to those who enroll into for-profit institutions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes with it. I mentioned the fact that, first of all, we can make courses up and we can make programs up, as quickly as we want to. And that's really important. So we have to meet the demands of our community. So that was, pretty much the first reason why I made it for profit. But talking about the audits and all the legal hoops that we have to go through, and making sure that we stay, cross our T's and dot our I's, that is always at the forefront of everything we do. We do have to endure a lot of, I guess, oh my gosh, big, red X's, right? So don't do this, don't do that. If you're a for-profit, you have to make sure that you're doing everything correctly and make sure your job placement's there, your numbers are there. Fiscally, you have to be, liquid. You have to be financially ready. So there's all these hoops that you have to go through. And when you finally get there, it's so rewarding, because you know that not only have you served your community, but you're also proving that you're financially stable for everyone that you serve. So, there's a lot that's, goes into it. If you're a nonprofit, you get money from the public sector. You get it from the, state department. You get it from the federal department. And, it's just coming in droves to you most of the time. But here you really have to work hard for what you do at a for-profit. And so it just goes to show you that to still be here and thriving at this juncture, especially with the pandemic, that we really, really care about what we're doing. We're really passionate about it.
Wow. Well, we'd like to thank you, Miss Harris, for stopping by and having this conversation with Josh and I. But before you even think about leaving and going back into what you call your shyness, we would like for you to stay on for the next segment, in which we're going to bring out our student Steven Freeman. Steven has taken a number of our programs, and he's going to come and tell us about his experience as well as what he's looking to get into in this next chapter of his life. So if you guys and gals will hold on for a second, let us pay a couple bills. We will return on the other side.
Be right back.
Right now, there are job opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, at DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
Welcome back to the Tech School podcast brought to you by DSDT. I'm joined back with Jamie and Carlos back in the gang. So we're going to bring in Steven Freeman. I understand.
Yes.
He is soon to be a former student here at DSDT.
Correct. Steven, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining us, brother. All right, so a moment ago, I mentioned that you are soon to be a former student here at DSDT. You are going to wrap up your program this upcoming Friday.
Hey. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last of that question.
Say that again, my friend?
You said I was wrapping up the program on Friday?
Yes, my understanding you're about to wrap up the program here at the school.
Yes, sir. Yep. About to graduate my last program. I've been here for about 10 months now, since February 2021. I've attended 3 programs since admission, the Tech 2, Tech 6, and the 3D printing and drone technology program. Whenever I first started, I got in and I just had my military knowledge, which was mostly based in like radio technology, military equipment, and they really helped me resurface my A+ and fundamentals of basic technology, hardware, software, operating systems with the Tech 2 program. Within the Tech 6 program, I learned about cloud computing, security, virtualization, Active Directory. I mean, they pretty much cover all different aspects of tech, and it really opened up my eyes to different avenues of tech and helped me figure out which career path I wanted to go towards. Which 10 months later, I've decided I want to go ahead and go towards computer programming and learn some programming languages. So yeah, it's definitely helped me guide me.
Any potential opportunities lined up?
Oh yeah, I got some got some good interviews and got some good careers paths led by the admissions expert and my career counselor. She's been helping me out along the way. I'm definitely looking to break into the IT field and
Steven, is that
see
your career
my
counselor with DSDT?
It is Ivy.
So tell us about your relationship with your career advisor. What was the dynamic?
Well, whenever I first started, I mean, it just started off as an email. She gave me a few calls. She helped me from ground zero, build a LinkedIn account, which I didn't even have before I even started. That's part of being a professional. You gotta get networking, get your networking figured out and get out there. So she helped me build up my resume, build up my LinkedIn. She even I mean, directed me towards freelance type jobs. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, so that you can become an entrepreneur with your own skills and stuff that you learn.
Absolutely. I was talking to Jamie a short time ago, and we talked about how that Detroit is going to be back on the 8 ball when it comes to technology here in the Motor City. Did you ever think about technology growing up in the city of Detroit?
Well, actually, I grew up in Lansing, but I moved down to OKC, and that's why that's what I currently live. And I've always loved tech since a kid. I mean, ever since a kid, I was breaking down computers and trying to learn computer programming at a basic level, you know, functions and variables and stuff. But I mean, now I'm trying to go into the big levels and intermediate, advanced levels, and actually try to make some money off of it. And I feel like DSDT definitely helped me.
Here's a question I have from one viewer online right now, Steven.
What's the question?
What was the most challenging aspect of learning when you first started with DSDT, and how did you overcome it?
Most challenging aspect, I'm gonna have to say all the knowledge kind of coming at me at once, which isn't really a bad thing for me because I like a challenge. But you do have to take time yourself you have to put aside time yourself and study those materials that they give you outside your class time if you really want to learn. Because that's the way you really want to learn. If you got to tinker with stuff and go down your own steady path as well.
I guess, Jamie, I like to bring you back in. There's kind of that gift and curse of getting straight to the point here at DSDT with your concentration and no time to waste.
Right. And so it's funny hearing from a student's perspective because the classes are jam-packed and they do go very quickly. It was designed like that for a reason, but it definitely, like Steven said, you have to set aside time outside of the courses to really, you know, take the material, study it, and learn it. You know, so I hear you on that. But it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It is. But when there's a will, there's a way, right? So if you want a career, you're gonna work hard.
For sure. You got to work hard for it. Nothing's free.
Right.
Hey, so Steven, again, lay out what are your future goals going forward. You're about to wrap up the program here at DSDT. What's your next move?
Well, my next move is just getting into an entry job through IT and maybe finishing up my bachelor's in IT field. I mean, I have other at the moment, I'm a physical trainer, but I've always been involved in IT since a kid, and my military career circulated around IT. And I mean, this definitely set me towards the path to wanting to get back into it full time.
I have a question. So you took the entire program online?
Yes, sir.
So how was that experience for you? Because, you know, one of the things we are constantly hearing is the fact that some students don't do so well with the online training modules, and they prefer to have it more in person with the hands-on, definitively depending on what class you take, right? Of the classes that you took, how well did that work for you?
Well, I have to say it all comes back to discipline. I mean, are you actually paying attention to the classes? I mean, that's with anything. Whenever you at in a Zoom class or in a Zoom meeting or anything as of right now. Am I actually paying attention? Are you actually like gaining the knowledge that you're looking at? That's the difference. I mean, because I mean the knowledge is there, the professors are there, and they're there to give the knowledge. I mean, it's whether you absorb it or not, really. I didn't find any difficulty with it because I mean, I find myself as a semi-disciplined person, so I was able to follow along pretty well.
It sounds like DSDT is a very resourceful place, but a no nonsense.
Yeah. Well, we don't have time for no nonsense. I mean, you know, it's rigorous, it's fast paced, and it's designed that way. It's designed to get you a career. So, you know, yeah, you got to be on your game.
I guess there are more perks to being for profit.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Everybody's trying to get somewhere. But I think that this is definitely one of those moments where Steven deserves a round of applause. A round of applause. Everything that he's been doing, that he's accomplished. And I am so hopeful for his future career in technology. Congratulations, Steven. And thank you for being a part of the DSDT alum.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. You know, y'all's help and work. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Well, my friend, thank you very much for joining in with us. He already took off. I guess he's a busy man. He's a busy man. It's all good. It's all good. But hey, again, Karlos, as you alluded to, it's good to see those success stories, him wrapping up the program here and to continue on his future endeavors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even more so, I think what's so significant to me is having Jamie to have a conversation with the students that are now at these points in their lives based on a vision that she had so long ago. You know, so I kind of think of like my children. Right. So I said this to her a while ago. I remember the day that the name of my youngest came to me. I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. And it was like it was breathed into me. And all of a sudden I had this baby, this being to bring forth. And here we are 16 years later. I look at this baby and I think, wow, you know, I wasn't with Jamie when she had that moment that, you know, I want to create DSDT. You know, and like, what the hell is a DSDT? And I'll cuss. Yeah, right. Y'all can give it to me now. Y'all already know. I'm cussing. Right. So just let's keep it understood. Right. At the end of the day, what was that very moment that made you? This is a question that made you say, you know what? We need to have a tech school because and before let me preface that for you. Right. I remember one time when early in the DSDT transition, I went to a certain company and I remember standing outside of the CEO's office and I saw the property that they owned in the city of Detroit. And I looked over the floor and I saw all the individuals who were working there. And I thought back to the students who at that time we were serving and where they were coming from, you know, the different aspects of their lives. And I thought to myself that, you know, some of our students might not ever be able to get into an environment like that. It is what it is, right? But I also had that inkling of a moment, well, we're going to create it. You know, we're going to create it and we're going to bridge them with those opportunities. They may not be able to get into this company, right? Just given the fact of who they are and, you know, some of the travels that they have going on in their lives. But definitively, they're going to have an opportunity, an equal seat at the table like everyone else in this city. And now, not just DSDT Detroit, but around the world. We're trying to connect individuals with real life opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have. So, to Miss Jamie Harris, when was that moment that you had that aha that I'm going to bring forth DSDT?
So that's easy. It's very simple for me. I had started a school. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought it was very simple. I found out it wasn't, but I was already too invested. What I mean invested is financially invested, mentally, physically, and financially. So, you know, we used to do makeup and we did film production. And it was very simple. I remember sitting there, filling out this application to the state And, one of the makeup artists had walked past me, and I thought, and there was just complaints all day and da da da. And I remember looking and saying to myself, oh yeah, I'm not making a school for that. No, thank you. I don't want to do makeup here. I mean, we did makeup for film production, but I don't want to become a cosmetology school, put it that way. The reason is because, even though cosmetology, I have, beauty's an everlasting industry, right? It's never dying, and people spend tons of money on it. I wanted to do something that really made an impact for our community and,
help change the face of Detroit.
Yeah, help change the face of Detroit. We're not Silicon Valley. But everybody always made a joke about how, Detroit's like the next Silicon Valley, but it'll never be there because we don't have enough technology training and this and that. Well, you know what? I hated hearing that. So I wanted to do something to make a difference. And so that's where I turned my focus to. But I remember specifically, I was sitting at the table and I looked up and I thought, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to do cosmetology school. I want to do tech. I want to make an impact, a huge impact.
And Jamie, what you're alluding to goes deeper into this renaissance we are currently experiencing here in the city of Detroit, where you have to diversify the economy.
Yeah.
The opportunities.
Right. You do. And I think that, the beauty industry, it was already there, right?
Oh, sure.
It's already thriving.
Oh, let's be clear.
Yeah.
You're going to get the best hairstylists and the best haircuts in the city of Detroit.
Right. Yeah.
Just say.
Detroit is, that's what, it's known for is fashion, beauty,
just
barbers. Yeah. It's the truth though, and there's cosmetology schools everywhere. I don't mind competition because I think everybody, it's competition is it brings awareness, right? So the more competition, the better, in my opinion. But there weren't tech schools and no one was doing it. And so, I really believe that we were like the first tech school in Detroit. We were, besides a little couple one-offers, but we were game changers. We still are game changers.
Is it fair to say, what did we lose out on? Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
They're going to bring the blue collar jobs here, but not the white collar jobs for its headquarters.
Right.
Had we been a little further in the game, what do you think our chances could have been to land?
We would have had it.
Can I answer this?
We would have landed it.
Ladies first.
She said we would have had
We would have landed it. And that's why I said, it had to start somewhere. And so even though I was told no repeatedly, or, oh, you're crazy for doing a tech school in the city of Detroit, I always go against the grain. That's how I've been my entire life, right? If somebody tells me no, I'm going to push harder and I'm going to make it happen. And it was needed. It's still needed. Us included, aside from the other schools that there are now, we still need more, and it just brings more awareness to Detroit. It puts us on the map. Now we're kind of on the map, but before that, it was like a joke. I remember getting laughed at. And so I had to do something, and that's what I did.
Karlos.
Okay, so first I will let you, Josh, ask Jamie the question that's been proposed by one of our viewers.
Absolutely. Hi, Jamie. How does the school ensure that it keeps up with the ever-changing world of technology in terms of the courses you provide?
All right. So before I used to forecast and I used to read a lot about what's coming down the pipeline and try to prepare for the future. But I realized that even preparing for the future, I'm still too advanced. And so being advanced, you can't always get your student jobs because the market that you serve isn't ready yet for that demand. So that worked for so long. And then I realized, okay, forget that. We still have to do job placement at the end of the day. So what I started doing was listening to my community and listening to the employer affiliates that we work with now, and filling that talent gap based upon their needs. So that takes board meetings, it takes a lot of research, and it takes planning and almost sitting down at the table one-on-one with our employers and saying, what's important to you? If you could bullet point, everything that you wanted training in for your employees that you hire to hit the ground running, what would that be? What would that look like? And that's how we develop our curriculum. That's how we ensure that we keep up with the technology demand.
Right.
Okay, so here's my answer to the Amazon question.
Okay.
Right. I look at it as though the first time Amazon came to Detroit and we were making the bid in order for them to move into the city, we weren't ready. It's just definitively, we were not ready, right? That what the talent wasn't here, as well as they talked about the mass transit, we didn't have enough of. But when it comes to talent, we've been now in the city of Detroit almost 6 years. And I can tell you hands down, the lives that we've touched, the skill sets that we've trained, they will be ready. They'll be ready for the next time that the Amazon come, right? And maybe it's not Amazon. Like you said, definitively, they already, in the city, blue collar-ish.
Yes.
But there are other Amazons out there that are willing to come to the Detroit, and they're looking at it right now. We have a good friend, Mike Scamadella, that has the iconic building there on the riverfront, right? And that's a campus for some technology school, business that will come to Detroit. And when they come, they're going to hire one of DSDT's most astute. And that's going to be the gateway for so many others to be able to get in. I like to talk about the students who we have throughout the industries. We have students that are at Duo Security out of Ann Arbor, multi-billion-dollar company. We have a student, former student / instructor, who's now over, how does he call it? Vehicle cybersecurity, blah, 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 with Ford, right? As well as we have a student with Ford who's over all the badges out of 150 countries. Come on now, make it make sense for me. Because if not for DSDT, would they have had an opportunity to be connected?
Probably not.
I would argue not. And that is why we have been a game changer here in the city, as well as now in every community that we're touching.
And it sounds like you're describing individuals who come from humble beginnings.
Call it, if that's the word we're going to use, humble beginning, right?
We're keeping it politically correct.
Right. At the end of the day, we're talking about individuals that's like Karlos and Jamie. Karlos and Jamie. Jamie tells you her history, about how she went on to get her degrees. Karlos tells you about my history. I'm not from education. Neither is she, really, right? She didn't go to school to be somebody's principal, right? But at the end of the day, we were given this opportunity to be able to connect people with real life chances that are changing their lives. And we don't take that lightly. We're here every day. We work sometimes 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I mean, when I say 24 hours a day, I'm up late at night because we have team members that are on the other side of the world, 12 hours ahead of us or 6 hours behind us, or whatever the case may be.
So refresh the audience on where you are as far as your daily operations, whether it's in person, online, because as we're still dealing with this lingering pandemic at this point, what's the status?
Right. So as of December 21st, we are going back to in-person classes, but that is for our traditional delivery or mode of delivery. But we do have our online classes now, and we have our permanent distant education approval. So somebody in a different state can still take our classes.
Okay. And well, that's part of the goal too, is to expand on that.
Yes.
As well as far as online classes, people out of state, out of the country.
Yep. Out of the country. Yeah. We've had one from Poland just recently that attended. Yeah. So we're getting it out there.
Yeah.
We're doing our work. Yes.
Okay.
So
good deal. Well, Jamie, thank you very much.
thank you.
Do I need to say any more? My people showed up for me today. They showed up for me today. Josh, go ahead.
Jamie, Karlos, I'm Josh. That will do it for the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. See ya.